Okay.
Just started. Sorry about that.
All right. Perfect. So then another part of our, our full turnkey web store is our PIM, our product information management, and our intelligence search, which we call Cloud LSI, where you can localize, edit, and prioritize your data. Mark's going to kind of show you guys this in a little more detail in a second, but this is just kind of, a high level look at it. We have an auto product recommendation feature. If somebody goes onto your site, buys something, through AI, you can suggest other products that be bought with it and that have been bought in the past. Auto data cleansing, cleaning up any, bad data in the site. Maybe you're missing images or, pricing for specific items. And then editing any of the images you have, whether that be, adding a watermark to make it yours or, a specials banner, anything like that. And then upselling and boosting, say you wanted to, when somebody goes and selects, a specific product, say you wanted a certain manufacturer featured, because you get better margins on those products, you can make those, the featured item when somebody does go, select that. And then, getting the best quality assurance data as well. And then that all kind of leads into the web store where, you can sell B2B, B2C your way. Most of our customers are currently, selling B2B, but you do have that option to sell directly to the consumer if you'd like. We're, focused on reorders. We want your customers to come back and, make it easy to place the same orders that they have in the past. Where they have full account management, and then 24/7 support as well. Instead of that 9 to 5 in-store person, they have it, 24 hours, 7 days a week, which is, kind of the beauty of having the e-commerce site. And then so just to kind of look at our Cloud LSI PIM in a little more detail. So we take your data sources here, which is, any vendor data, manufacturers you see here, trade service, any internal data, and then obviously your ERP, which is P21. And that goes into, our data catalog, our PIM tool, which then generates our intelligence searching, Lightspeed indexing, and, just kind of the importance of this is just kind of making it easy for your customers to, be able to find products, just having, like we said, good specs so they can make informed decisions. And that's just kind of what makes a good store. Like I said, having the good taxonomy and spec sheets and, all that fun stuff. And all this is happening in real time through P21. So, anytime somebody purchased something, the availability is all up to date. Say you make any adjustments on pricing, quotes, you name it. That's all happening real time. And then another thing is our data feed management tool where you can export items and then you can sell them on any third-party stores, whether that be, eBay, Google Shopping, Amazon, you name it. You can, push items out to that. And then this is all backed by Amazon Web Services. You're getting the same scalability, security, and speed that Amazon themselves uses. So you're getting, the best, that we can offer. So any questions there? Like I said, Mark is kind of walked you through in a little more detail, but just anything at a high level.
No, not at the moment.
Okay, cool. And then the last thing I'm just going to talk about real quick is our mobile app. I know we kind of talked about it briefly with you, Chris, but as you can see here, through the pictures, it's, you get everything from the store that is also on the app. So you get, our PIM tool, our intelligence search, there's a barcode scanner up there. You can see the card up here. And this is all just kind of happening, like I said, real time because of P21, and you have, the one call support as well. So having said that, I'm going to pass my screen off to Mark here.
Hey, Matt, I did have a quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mobile app, is that just for consumers, or is that for, like, could I log in as an admin and possibly make a change, from my phone if I needed to?
It's designed for B2B, actually. It's not really designed for consumers, so it's a B2B product.
Right. I mean, if I needed to make change to a website, do I have the tools to do that with the app or with the mobile app? I mean, the web app.
You don't need the mobile app to do changes to your site. You can do that on your phone, even with the normal web store.
Okay.
Mobile app is just a native app for iOS and for Android to have all the features of a native app versus all our sites work on phones anyway, right out of the box. But some folks prefer to have a native app, if you know the difference. Just a little faster, a little more advantage of things like the GPS in your phone and your camera and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So, but your decision. If you ever want an app, we have them ready for you. But this is here we are in what we call our admin dashboard. Whenever you log in to do administration like you were just talking about, you always see this. And it's always going to be your current sales results that you're doing on the site. This is actually one of our customers right here, what they just did in the last 7 days. You can see, of course, quiet over the weekend, the kind of logins they're getting, who's coming into the site, what companies are coming into the site, what products are being sold on the site. Everything you need, you can actually drill in on a particular product and put a product ID right here. You can drill in on a particular customer and really get in detail how that customer is doing. And it's these kind of data that really helps you get your site to succeed. We really start looking what's working and what isn't, what's selling, what isn't, which customers are buying the most on the site, which are the ones that are not. You can do an education program to get them to buy more on the site. And this is how you start getting the success of your site up the ladder, which is really important in our world. Is the more successful you are, the more you're going to be talking about us in the hallways of the Bluehawk conferences and that kind of thing. So, and the more you're going to see a good ROI on what you're going to do with us. So really important that we kind of focus on that and talk about that. So this is actually Cloud LSI here. This is the tool that backs up the web store. This is the most important feature of our whole product because it's the engine to the car. Without a tool like this, you will not have a successful e-commerce situation. We'll get into why in a little more detail. So everything in here, all the data that's in here, we have over 100,000 items in this particular example, is all being fed by these data sources here. And we hit the edit button here, you see these data sources visually. This is P21, the ERP. It's always the first data source. That's kind of the master. Has an anchor here in the corner to determine that. These are our additional sources. This here is trade service data. So this would be like the blue data that you can get from Bluehawk, which of course has been subsidized and made dramatically lower price than you would get anywhere else. This actually shows 3 different data trade services sources feeding this site. And then another source here. So you can have unlimited sources feeding the site, and you can prioritize them right here by dragging and dropping what are the priorities of these different sources. So whatever is missing from P21, and usually there's a lot missing from P21, gets fed additionally from these other sources in the priority you see here. So you always want to put your best data forward. So whatever your second best source is, third, fourth, fifth, all visually is shown right here. You can also prioritize based on the field level, using what we call smart fields. The smart fields is the way to prioritize, like I just said, at the field level. So here you can see an example of smart image. These have 8 different sources of images feeding the smart image. So in other words, once again, you're always pushing your best images to the front. And you can change the priority by simply dragging and dropping, just like you did for the data source. So you can make your images go to the front that are the best images. So say you get a new source images from a vendor direct, you can stick it right in here and put it at a higher priority. You can also say include all button here. And that means you're going to see all the images for a given item. So here's an example here of a product that has multiple images, and so they're all displayed. Even if you had 9, 10, 15 images, they would all get displayed here, and you can click through them, including videos and stuff. But what's behind the scenes of this web store, this is an actual customer, an iMark customer, is all Cloud LSI feeding this site. So all this features data you see here, specs data, download spec sheets, installation guides, videos for installing this particular item. All that is built coming right out of Cloud LSI and feeding this site. And it gives you the kind of spec sheet here. And then the pricing, this particular site, they want login for availability and pricing. That's totally up to you. If you want to sell to consumers, you should never have this on, because people like me, consumers, don't like to see this. But if you don't care about consumers, which these guys don't, then you sell it, you can put this login, and this is a simple toggle of a switch to put this on or not. What would you guys do? Would you want this on or off?
It really depends on some products.
Yeah,
I would definitely want.
Yeah, is the switch by product or all or nothing?
You can do all or nothing, or you can kind of get more fine-tuned. Now, one way this customer over here handled this was they have two different sites. One's called a storefront, one's called the store. Here's an example of where they sell everything. They have all their items here, and this is more B2B requiring login. And this is where they sell things that kind of the average consumer may want, or even interior decorators or whatever. And this is obviously more visual stuff like lighting and kitchen hardware and things that are more, where you really want to have a really nice presentation. And so they have this one with no login required and this one with login required. So that's totally up to you how you handle it, but we have a lot of different ways to do it and you control that. And so, but this is called a storefront. You only buy one store from us, one web store, but you can have multiple faces to it. And this is kind of their more consumer interior decorator face to their site. And this is their more everybody B2B, don't really care as much about the look, more of like finding everything you can find on this site. So, that answer your question?
Yes.
So we have these smart fields. You can do any smart fields for any field. So you can say smart auto suggest. So when you're on the site and you start putting in a keyword here, you can start seeing results, and you can even see products and go right to a product and not do any more drilling. This is kind of where UIs are going now. This is how you're getting to product as quickly as possible. And this is what you're seeing on things like Grainger. You're seeing things like you see here. So by a keyword, you can quickly get right to the item you're looking for and even allow people to go straight to the cart with that item. Here you can see categories and such. So the whole point is getting people to the product they want as quickly as possible. And everything you're seeing happening here is being driven by Cloud LSI. Cloud LSI is also doing over here, the refinements, and it's allowing people to pick which products they want in refinements. You can set up your refinements any way you want. In this case, they've purposely made a fewer list of refinements, only 4 on purpose to kind of minimize that. And you can change refinements for every single category to have them be longer lists, shorter lists, different order. So every drill down you have can have a different list of refinements and different order of refinements and different number of refinements. For some products, you may want a massive list of things. Others, you want to have only the list that matters for that particular item and not a single refinement more. So it's really up to you, once again, of driving how refinements show up. And this comes right out of the blue data. You get your refinements already addressed. All different categorization here is already addressed. Design Air, one of your fellow Blue Hawk members, is using the blue data behind this site. So everything you see that we're showing here is all being driven by the smart fields and the Cloud LSI and everything you're seeing here. So next thing you can do with the site and over here in Cloud LSI is you can edit the data. So how do you get even more content for your products, even above what Blue Data provides? So you can come in here and do a bulk edit, and you can look at, say, for example, I want to edit these controls, or I want to edit those valves we were looking at earlier and such. So I can pick valves and the ball valves that we were looking at and pick that. And say I want to add some more content to these 308 ball valves that I had here. Well, here's the fields that every one of those ball valves shares. UPC code, trade service ID, description, product name. Every item, all 308 items, has these fields. So I can pick a given fields that I want to edit, or I can come in here and add a new field. So say there's a local building code in your area that you think would be appropriate to add as a data field for data for your site. So I can come in here, and you can see here, these are the names of the taxonomy that's in the site. So when you look up here, you see valves and ball valves. Those names are actually editable right here. Or I can come in here and see I'm putting in that building code. And I can come in here and add that building code for those 308 ball valves, hit save changes, and now I just added this building code to 308 items, a couple of clicks. So This is really critical to how you start differentiating yourself from the big national distributors, because they're not going to take the time to put in local building codes, local specs, anything related to your area that wouldn't really relate to the whole country, state codes, whatever it may be. This is how you can stand apart. And you can think about how other ways you could apply this. But the PIM allows you to go in and add this extra data. And then when you're on the site, you can actually then search on that building code and start seeing items that match that building code right here. And that way it becomes, you're not going to see that on Grainger, I guarantee it. So it's the little things like this that really helps you start stand apart. And when you actually go to the actual item, of course, once again, this is all being fed. This is all the blue data, right? And you have similar products showing up down here. And by the way, my internet isn't the quickest here at the house. So if there's any issues or I'm not keeping up graphically, just let me know and I can pause. All right, so that's PIM. You can come in here and make your bulk edits. You can make table edits, which means every single item can have different data. You can do data cleansing. So say you want to standardize. This is the little stuff that starts mattering. Here's an example of, you have all these different ways of saying amps. Ampere, amperes, AMPS, AMP, and you want to standardize an amp across your whole site. Well, you set up this rule, you turn this rule on, and from now on, whenever data comes in from the outside, and all existing data in here will now show amp on your web store. Same thing, here's an example of inches. A colon, inches, the word inch, and you want to standardize an IN. It doesn't matter how many items you have in this Cloud LSI. We have some clients that have 2 million items, and all the edits and all the searching and all the things you're seeing here will all happen just as quickly with 2 million items as it will with 30,000 items. So our product is meant to just scale, and these are the kind of things the competition will never talk about. You might see a great demo on a competitor's site showing 3,000 items, and in our sites the average is 100,000 plus. And so it's the kind of, even if you don't sell that many items today, maybe you want to start offering non-stock. And we have clients that go from 50,000 items to 800,000 items in 1 week because they decide they want to, as a company, start offering non-stock. Well, if you had the wrong product and the wrong competitor, that's the day you have to turn the site off because they can't handle 800,000 items. Things like Magento and BigCommerce, they were never meant for 800,000 items. They were meant for retail. So these are the differences here. Here's another data cleansing here for changing to the letter V for volts. Another thing we can do that's mass editing that would take forever on your own is what we call transformations. So say you want to edit a bunch of images and you want to make all the images 150 by 150 in size. Well, you can create this transformation, set the size of 150 by 150, and then apply this transformation to all your pictures or half the pictures or whatever, and you can change 100,000 pictures with one click. And if you were trying to do that manually, if any of you ever done an edit of a picture and try to change its size, it takes a good while. And then if you do that for 100,000 items, you won't do it. You'll give up. Other things you can do in transformations, you can come in here and you can say you want to add a specials banner in the corner of a picture, like you have here. You want to put these drills on sale, and you want to add a little specials graphic. So you come in here, you say, I'm going to apply this graphic. You say where the graphic is. I want to put it in the top left corner of the picture right here. And then I can apply this transformation. So if I go back here to what we call our group creator, we call it merchandising groups, and I want to make a group for specials on my home page. So I pick this. You see, there's my transformation that I just looked at, specials. And I'm going to apply it to all the items that have a dead inventory equals yes in my ERP. And I don't know what your field is in your ERP that indicates dead inventory, but whatever that happens to be, we can make a rule that says we look into P21. If we see that condition is yes, or whatever it is, then we automatically stick those items into a specials category. And then you go to the home page of this particular site, and you see the specials here. Oh, it's turned off on this particular site. But if there's a specials turned on, oh, hey there. There's my internet slowing down, sorry. You see the specials showing up here, right here in the corner. And this doesn't matter if it's 10 items or 1,000 items. Whatever met that rule will now have that specials transformation in the corner. And once again, this is the little things that if you were trying to make this and add this little graphic to all your images, that are in the that are dead inventory because you want to get rid of them at a discount, it would take forever. And this is another way to get rid of that dead inventory without having to stick things on a table in your branch. And now you can get rid of all your dead inventory this way and have great pricing on here. Or you can make a special storefront, kind of like these guys did for consumers. You can make a storefront just for specials and have kind of a clearance site. And some of our clients have not even put their name on that clearance site. That way they don't piss off their customers. They make up a new name, get it registered, and they have that be their clearance site. So that's the kind of things you could do as you choose down the road. Other things you can do for the merchandising group is you can set up a promotional group and say I want to put all my Legend Valve items on sale. I make a rule, manufacturer name equals Legend Valve. Now every Legend Valve that I have will automatically be on sale in a promo. And then I can go to my admin screen here, discounts promotions, and I can associate that Legends Valve group that I just created to this promotion, give the promotion 10% off or whatever I want to do, and then I can apply that for a given window of time, set my dates here for the window of time, the promotion, and then I have a code that people can now use on my site to buy Legend Valve at 10% off or whatever you want to do for that Legend Valve. That's how easily you can set 5 minutes and I'd have this Legend Valve promotion set up, ready to roll. So you can create all these different groups of items. Someone need to talk?
Yeah, hey Mark, I was going to ask you, so when you set up a promotional item like that, does it automatically go into P21? So when our branch is routed up at the counter, it automatically puts that price in?
It doesn't automatically update P21. When the order goes through, it'll say item XYZ had a discount of 10%, and it'll show that, so it'll be clearly where you could apply that, and it'll go, and that's when it'll go into P21.
Thank you.
Okay. So the other different kinds of groups we have, one's called Quick Buy Group, where this is a way of setting up groups of things that your customers typically buy together. So like bill of materials. Here's an example, circulation pumps. You determine in P21 that these things are typically bought together on average, 80% of the time or whatever. And then you make this group. And then when you go to the site and we log in, one of the things they have here is quick buy groups. And so I could pick quick buy groups, and there's a circulation pump group I just looked at. And so here is those items people typically buy together when they're doing a circulation pump project. The goal is to get people buying their whole project on your site. Not little, in the past it's been a lot of onesie twosie type of purchases. So now you just go here and they start putting in quantities for what they want on this project, and then they hit add to cart and they're ready to roll. The difference with this kind of methodology versus a fax or an email or a text or even a phone call is right here on the screen. Every item has its availability and current price. So they know here, if I don't make any phone calls, that you got these items in stock and what the current prices of those items are. And there's no needing to have to get hold of someone 8 to 5. They can do this at 7 p.m. at night or on Sunday, and they can get this thing set. They can also create this into a group of their own. We call these product groups. So they can use your group you created to now make their own groups. So when you come back to the My Account page, they have product groups. And here they can pick from different groups they have, like fulfill, stock a truck, or this is one of the workers, Mike, or pump project. And then they can now make this group their own and save some quantities with it and have, once again, the price and availability right here on the screen. And if they want to buy these items, they just simply say check all, add to cart, and they just bought the whole group. Or they can uncheck a few things this time. I don't want these two, and hit add to cart, and off they go. So it's this ability to get your clients taking this site and making it their own, making it what we call it sticky. Because when your customers start making things like product groups on your site, they're more likely to come to your site than the competitor, because they really have all this effort, extra effort they made to make it all happen. And while we're on the My Account page, here's all the different things you can do in My Account. You can turn on or off any of these things. You don't have to have all these options, but this is what we have out of the box. QuickPad is a way of going in and making part IDs or barcoding and scanning a barcode say there's an empty box in their truck. They hit barcode, scan the barcode, put in 10 of those things or 2 cases of it, and boom, they just ordered it. Super quick. This also works in your phone the same way. Bring this up on your phone. You know, we have My Saved shopping carts. A lot of our clients will put together a shopping cart of an estimate, and then save it. So if they get the job, they just bring up their saved cart and off they go. Import purchase order means they can have a file from a purchasing system, say your customer's purchasing system. And they can just import that file right into the system, and everything in that file will now get ordered. 5 things or 1,000 things that quickly. Special stock request, non-stock item request. Job management lets people bring their whole project to the site. This is another way of making it sticky. They can put their own part numbers in here and such. They can create a wish list in here where they want to have a wish list for purchase in the future. They can look at all their open bids, open quotes in P21, open orders, order history, look at all past orders. And they can bring up an order from the past. This one doesn't have any because we're not actually a distributor. We open orders here, and they can bring up an order from the past. They can say, I want to order that again. So they bring up the order. Here's an order here. They say, copy this order to cart, or copy these items to a product group and make this into a product group that they can then order again and again in the future. So it's this kind of thing about how do you make it easy for your customers to order again and again, which is what it's all about in B2B sites. You want them ordering daily on your site, not once a month, not twice a month, but daily. And that's when you start getting into the kind of numbers that Design Air is getting to. They now have 24% of their sales happening on their website. And that's a big number. And when they were P21 as well. When they signed up with us, they actually had 14% of their sales happening through B2B Seller. You guys use B2B Seller now?
No, not currently.
No.
They had B2B Seller, the Epicor product, and they went from 14 to 24% in a year with us. So it just shows you that what you get when you go above the base product, you can get out of your ERP and really get a lot more. And they have a lot of capability here, a lot of good data, which allows people to buy something like a furnace online. Obviously, bad data, they'll never buy a furnace online. So you really want to get, what does it take to get people to buy items that cost $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 online? Good data. And the ability to find it quickly and easily through keyword search and that kind of thing. And the drill downs and all the things that come with the Blue Data product. So all that's really critical to success and such. Let's see what else we got here. We got the related products, acquired products. Here's an example of automatic. When Matt was talking about the automatic product recommendations tool, this site here has that turned on. These are all similar items to the item here that were automatically generated. And then here's frequently bought together items that were automatically generated. And so if I want to show you how this actually works, I can look up this part number in Cloud LSI here. Go back to Cloud LSI, go to the product recommendation tool, the automated one. Put in that part ID that we saw. And we see the solvent cement. And we see the recommended products that went with it. We see the frequently bought together that went with it. And all those things are all happening here. This is the tool that allows you to have that. Every single item in your site now will have similar products and frequently bought together products. And of course, the bottom line to this is you're hoping to increase the amount of items that are getting bought per shopping cart, as we all know from what Amazon has done in the last 20 years doing. So now you're having the ability to bring that kind of functionality using artificial intelligence to kind of drive the experience in your site and really get that to happen at a different level. Other things to do, Cloud LSI, and we'll start pulling away from this. We talked about search profiles, where we can adjust the order of the profiles. You can do it per category. So brass ball valves has their own order here, which we saw a minute ago. It only has 5 things on purpose. The order those things are going to be in is right here. And so you can really control per category exactly what people are going to see to buy things. You can also control boosting of items. So here's an example of boost, and I'm going to boost Legend Valve to the front. of my, when I show people product. So if I come back here and go to brass ball valves, you'll see here that we have legend valve showing up number 1. And the reason why is that boosting has legend valve being boosted to the front. So if you have a certain brands you want to feature, and it can be for a time period, you can say, I want to boost legend valve for the next month, but then have it automatically turn off. You see there's a little date here that allows you to pick a date range, beginning and end of this boosting. So that way you only boost legend valve to the front for a month or forever if you pick this button here, and until you come and turn this off. And you can do this manufacturer, you can do this with stock status. So here you're seeing anything that's in stock is being boosted to the front. So when we come here, we see everything being displayed here is all has stock. So they're not pushing anything to the front for that. You see, we only have 12 items being displayed. That's why it's hardly anything showing. And so you see here, everything here at the front of this list is all legend valve. And you can see there's actually 3 different brands. So legend valve is winning the battle of what gets displayed in the front for whatever reason. Maybe you get a higher margin on legend valve, or you're running a promo on legend valve. But you get all that kind of control. And hopefully you're seeing that if you didn't have a site that had something like this backing it up, you really would have a site that wouldn't perform very well. And that's really important to understand. Finally, before we leave Cloud LSI, is we have a thing called data quality report. You can run a report and how your data is looking to know if it's ready for prime time. So you can see sample required fields, run the report, and you see here exactly, green is good, of course. That means the data exists for this field 100%. And over here, we're seeing, now if you wanted to show retail price, this is showing that only a percentage of only 82% of your items don't have a retail price. So that'd be a problem if you're going to sell B2C. Here we want to see the brand name is missing on some items. Images are missing some items. That's pretty important. You want images on all your items. So you want to make sure you fill in the gap of these 6% items that don't have images. So you just click on the red area here and you'll see exactly what vendors you're missing. Maybe it's a particular vendor that doesn't have good images. You need to fill in that gap either in the blue data or through P21 or by calling the vendor direct and getting to the point where you have green all the way across. Then you feel like you're ready. And when you're on the site, you're not going to see missing images. You're not going to see missing descriptions. Things that are critical to selling online, you don't want to have that happen. People see a bunch of missing images across the site, especially in 2020. They don't really have much interest in hanging out because they're not going to buy things they're not 100% sure of. And pictures are key to that. So it's all the stuff we saw here is all helping you kind of determine, what's going to get you to success. And as you'll see, if our sites, they all look unique. There's no one site that's identical to the other. They all present their data quite a little bit differently if they want. And they can get as visual as they want. May not be applicable to you guys at all, but you can get any kind of look or feel you want to the site, both really pleasant looking or more industrial looking. And really the goal is, how do you get to success? Another thing we're just about to roll out in the next month is a one-page shopping cart where everything is on one page. So if one glance, you can see everything. The shipping method, the price, the items you're going to buy, the shipping information, the payment information. Are you going to put a PO number in instead, which most, 80% of our clients are doing 100% PO? Are you going to apply a coupon code? All of it on one screen. So we try to make this really, really user-friendly for your customer base. We're just about to roll this out in the next couple of months. This is going to be a major change that our customers have been asking for a while. And this is the kind of thing we're constantly looking for. What are the latest things we can do to add to the site to make it more user-friendly and such. So actually another thing we're doing right now is how do you get people to find product easier? This customer asked us to make a more visual way of determining an item. So here's an assembly of a product here. And instead of trying to find a given item, completely disjointed from the assembly, we actually put the assembly up on the screen, and then they can just pick the item they want. Say they want this elbow here. And they pick the elbow, and up comes the elbow. This is where things are going, especially in B2B. They don't want to have to try to figure out, we've all been there. There's a gasket we need. on a particular assembly. How do you know that gasket really is the one? Well, here you'd actually just pick the gasket and off you go. So we're working on this for this client. They're trying to make a more easy way people can get the item they want and be more certain it's the right item. And so that means that they're looking at a complete assembly for that. And so this could be a furnace, this could be a condenser, this could be lots of things, a pump. And then you can have that pump have all the breakdowns. This is something we do custom for clients as they see fit. But that's the kind of stuff we're doing here at second phase. We're trying to always push the envelope on things and trying to get it better and better for people finding items quickly and easily, getting them into a cart quickly, and then, of course, getting the sale. So that's what I wanted to show today. Do you guys have any questions or additional things you'd like to see, or admin things you didn't see? We didn't really go deeply into admin.
Yeah, Mark, I've got 2 or 3 questions. This is Brad.
Hey, Brad.
On the customer, you said, was it Design Air that went to 24% online orders?
Yeah.
So is there any data there of maybe increased SKU numbers that are being ordered from their customers? Is that part of the increase as well? Is the amount of SKU numbers or items that are being ordered per ticket?
Well, we have log files of all that stuff, and you can see what's happening per ticket, so you can do that kind of analysis and really determine where that really is coming from. I know they have done a lot of that. They don't necessarily share it with us. It's kind of internal information, but
Sure.
But they, if you happen to know them, you could ask them. I don't know if you know Mike at Design Air well, but that's the kind of thing that you can kind of drill down. And that dashboard I showed you at the beginning is our way of helping you do that, where you can kind of get a sense for what's selling and what isn't. And
Okay.
I'll do a quick little.
All right. And then another question. So a person places an order on there, and then I guess at some point they can determine at what branch they want to pick it up at.
Yeah, you can put when you're doing the checkout, you can pick a branch if you wanted. There's always a home branch associated with somebody, so when they log in, we know their home branches. I don't know if Design Air has that. Let's see if it's got. I'm not logged in, so I don't really know for sure, but most places will have when someone logs in, you'll know what their home branch is. And then if they want to override it going to their home branch, they can then pick from a pull down and say, I want to go to another branch. But otherwise, by default, it'll go to their home branch.
Okay. All right.
We know their home branch from P21, so that's how it kind of dials it in.
And then going back to Gary, kind of like Gary's question, if they try to add on to a ticket, say they've placed the order, they go to a branch to pick up, can they add on to the ticket at the counter, or is that going to be an additional, they need to do a separate ticket?
Well, that's kind of a P21 question. I can't answer how that works in P21, but because once it comes back to you from us, it's just in P21 like any other ticket. And so whatever you can do now, you could do with this. It's no
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In other words, so they do this ticket online or they've ordered it all online. They walk up to the store, to the counter guy, and they have an order number that we would pull up, or we pull it up under their name, and then they could adjust the ticket from there, correct?
Right. Or they could bring it up on their phone right then, because they'd be able to see exactly what we have on our side. And they can bring up like an open order here would be where it would be sitting when they walk up. They don't have the items in their hand yet. It'd be an open order.
Okay.
Then they would have this. They could bring this side up on their phone or their iPad or whatever they have in their hand, and it'll say this here, which will be the same number that you'd be able to pull up in P21.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but then we're just looking at our normal P21 screen if we need to make any adjustments.
Right. In fact, this is exactly how it would be. It would say we'll call right here. But just by coincidence, that's how this order was set up. So
yeah.
And it has their customer number here in the corner and all that stuff. So the cool thing is that all their orders are available via my account here, not just web orders. Every order they've made, including ones they just made on the phone, that morning, and so they'd be able to bring up any of that and see all the data of it in this list right here, and then be able to look at the details and talk intelligently to your counter guy or be on the phone when they're on the way to the counter or whatever they're doing. So.
All right. Yeah. Gary, you have any questions about user friendliness, transitioning from the app or online to showing up in the branch?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, we would have to see, and the key is P21 and this playing nice together, as well as, it's a smooth transition when the guy comes to pick up at the branch. So that's about all I've got on that. I'm playing over here on Design Air's website. Just kind of, they're up in Wisconsin and Illinois. I'm trying to find. Mark, do y'all have anything to do with their website, or is this something that they do? And you got to understand, I sell air conditioners, so I don't know computer stuff.
Okay.
So when I'm looking at their website, are y'all involved in any of the website part of it?
Yes, we're the whole thing.
Gotcha.
But they control how it works. They say what happens when you put in a keyword. They say what it does and all that. So that's the kind of way you custom tune it to your own world. That's why every one of our sites will work a little bit differently, because the customer determines how it works based on what you've been seeing through our demo. By adjusting Cloud LSI and adjusting different admin switches here in the site. All this stuff allows you to configure the thing to work your way. The shipping methods you're going to offer, the payment methods, the ways how is an order going to get processed? All that gets turned on or off here, so that you can make it uniquely your own. So something Design Air does you don't like, we can certainly, let's make note of that and make sure we don't do the same thing for you in your instance of it for your site.
Yeah, exactly. Brad, I really don't have any questions besides what I've asked.
Okay. One other question I have, expectation-wise, we move forward with this. Obviously, I'm going to need an employee dedicated full-time to getting it up and running. Is that a one-person thing? Is this more than one employee that I should expect? What's the expectation on our end for implementation and running it?
Usually it starts off with one. No one ever ends up there. I think Design Air has 3 people, but they're bringing in a lot of money through this site, a lot of money. So it's not even a question mark for them to have expanded their team. But most people don't start off with this kind of revenue stream, so they work their way up there, And so we recommend one, even if it's 2 people divided 50-50, but the best case scenario is 1 person 100%. And
so to Brad's question, does Design Air have this somewhat set up as a branch in itself, and these 3 employees, and we can reach out to Design Air and get some information from them, but are these 3 employees, is that what their job is day in, day out, is to just maintain and take care of the e-commerce?
My impression is yes. They may tell you there's, all of you guys are not Fortune 500 companies, so everyone's got to kind of put their, they got to be a little diversified. But what I understand, Design Air has 3 people that are mainly focused on e-commerce.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it looks impressive. The site looks user friendly for sure. Very impressive.
Great. Well, if there's any other questions, sling off to Matt. He'll get you answers right away. And,
yeah, I got a question.
Go.
So we have different types of customers. Of course, we have the B2C and the B2B. But as far as the B2B goes, there are certain laws where, if they want to pick up like a condenser or a jug of Freon or something online, is there a way that we can use user fields, like custom user fields in Profit 21 to flag if someone has like this type of certificate so they can legally purchase the Freon?
Yeah, we've done that for other clients. I can't tell you exactly how we did it, but that has definitely been an issue. We have a hazardous flag in our admin. And so if it's Freon or something in that hazardous category, it either doesn't allow it to be shipped a certain way or whatever the rules are around that hazardous, we can set that up. And if it's something unique to you that really is something we haven't done before, we always do customizations on a regular basis to tweak what we have to meet exactly what you want. Usually people figure that out, not round one, but round two of the site, to kind of get those little tweaks like that. Because we've discovered that we've been doing this for 18 years of distributors, and we still don't have every single permeation of what people do on their in their world. And so that's why we have our custom group. You say, here's exactly how I want it to work. Your site got 80% there. Can we tweak that last 20%? And what will it cost? And we give you a quote.
Okay. I think Janet had a question. Hold on.
Hello, I'm in accounting, so my big question is if somebody's trying to put an order in that's exceeding their credit limit, or they have, invoices that are past due on their account, is it going to flag them for approval needed before
Yes.
they can just place the order?
It will in the when you're doing when you're trying to check out of your shopping cart, it'll flag credit limit reached. And won't let them make the order. So they'll have to call you or do whatever they'd have to do now to get their released.
On the credit card processing of this, do we have to go through your credit card company? Can we keep the one we have? How does that work?
We have a P21. Most people are using WorldPay. Is that you?
Janet?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You guys use
what credit card company are we using?
Chase Payment Tech. And portions of it is at eBiz, but like majority of it through the stores is Payment Tech. What it always was.
Okay.
Well, we support WorldPay, which is what P21 themselves supports. And we support Authorize.net. And we support BillTrust. Our own company has a payment. Well, I guess you're about to hear about that. And so those are the three you'd have to choose from.
Gotcha. All right, I don't think I have any more questions. Anybody else?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. I think we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then some of us are maybe logging back in, and some may not. So does that sound good to you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be a different group doing the next one, so it won't be me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a different.
The other one's all together,
but it's on the invitation that you'll see it, and I'll let them know that we'll give you 5 minutes. Take your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.